Okay, so it sounds to me as if you are rather big on bills. Is that fair to say?
I think that the legislative should be legislating and not the executive.
So I'm going to disagree on that, but what I would want to say.
If you want to see more content like this, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Rinyald. And if you disagree with anything in the video, make sure you join the Discord and we can have a chat sometime. Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay. So I take it you're a Trump supporter.
Yes, sir.
Um, so I, well, I guess what's the positives that you're seeing right now?
Economy's getting better. Stock market's getting better. We've seen, I believe, six conflicts worldwide end since he's taken office. Um, Many states are seeing significant drops in gas prices, and a lot of states are also seeing drops in grocery prices. General housing prices are expected to be going down in the next few months as well.
So like, what has Donald Trump done to facilitate almost any of that?
So he's been a big part of getting blue collar jobs on the rise, such as construction and manufacturing. He's pushed for that a lot.
But like how? Like what has he done?
So like he's reopening a lot of formerly closed manufacturing and construction companies.
How would he
If you want,
reopen a company?
well, essentially, so the warehouses have still been there. They never like took down the warehouses in which those businesses were taking place. So essentially, he just said, "Hey, we have this open warehouse." Finds one of his people who can run one of those businesses, and those businesses eventually got up and running.
You understand that that's not the job of the president. Like the president doesn't open domestic companies like that. That's
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. I didn't mean that to be super direct.
Yeah, you're good.
He is he is strongly encouraging that, I should say.
I guess the problem is, especially with a lot of Trump supporters, is that they'll point to decent metrics of an economy that had particular things going for it before he was in office, or that was planned independent of him being in office, and they'll give credit to Donald Trump for that, when all of his actual policy had either no impact or a negative impact on it. So like when we look at inflation, I think we're starting to see it come back up. But I mean, Donald Trump didn't really do anything to lower inflation. The tariffs are like necessarily inflationary, so it seems like the only thing that he's done would actually contribute to rising inflation. Um, like it seems like most of the actual policy things that he has done wouldn't be viewed to really help the country.
And I mean, I didn't mean this before, but another big thing is the border. But real quick, before talking about that, I would say we did see lower inflation for a number of months, and yeah, it does come back up. It's kind of like the stock market or the gas prices. They obviously fluctuate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not trying to give him a ton of credit on inflation specifically, but he has had a lot lower dips than we saw in the Biden administration, and we're also seeing
Sure, but I mean, we
more.
saw the dips under the Biden administration because he was trying to
Yeah, we saw
combat like a
dips,
giant
absolutely.
global health emergency. Like those circumstances were way different. If we saw the same kind
Yeah,
of dips that we saw under Joe Biden, under
well,
Donald Trump, when we're not in a world health emergency, I would say that was really, really bad.
granted, obviously lockdown for C-19 started while Trump was still in office,
Mm-hmm.
and although there was technically a recession, we did bounce back from that recession quite quickly and quite impressively
Mm-hmm.
before the reins were handed back to Biden in 2021. So I do give him
Sure.
some credit there.
Well, I mean, the reins were handed back to Joe Biden in January
Yeah,
of
January
2021.
2021.
I don't know if the
And
bounce back
lockdown started
started at that point,
almost a
but
year. I mean, lockdown started almost a year before that
sure, yeah, but I
in
don't know if
March
the
of
bounce back
2020.
started in 2021. But
Well, no, the bounce back actually started in December. Like, it wasn't
okay.
as apparent at the time, I'll grant that, but it was starting to go up right as he was leaving. And then, like, a month or two into Biden's administration, it was, like, back to normal, or close to back to normal, I should say.
I don't believe that's true, but That's fine. Okay, so when you bring up the border, I think that also hits at basically the same thing. Like Donald Trump hasn't proposed any actual real policy. He hasn't, you know,
Closed it. It was closed 10 days after he took office.
yeah,
We
but it was
have
closed. So the only grounds that the president has to close the border is states of national emergency, and I think that if we're, I don't think it is. Like
You don't think 10 million people coming in the last 4 years is an emergency?
it's
10 million people we don't know their
he
intention?
declared it an invasion. Like that, no,
Yeah,
I don't think
it
that's an
is.
invasion. Do you,
I do. We're going to disagree on that.
would you believe that in order for somebody to invade, they would need some sort of directive to do it?
No, that's
No.
not by any means the definition of invade.
What's the definition of
They did have a
invasion?
means actually. They did actually have a means, and that was either they. It depends on the specific person, but either they wanted to do American harm in some cases, definitely not all, or they were seeking a better life. So yes, they did have incentives.
I'm not talking about incentives. I'm talking about direction, like a top-down direction.
Is that not? Do you not consider that a top-down direction?
No, incentive doesn't mean direction. There would obviously be incentive to immigrate into the
Yes.
United States because the United States is the best country.
Yeah, we can agree on that. I think I would hope we could also agree though that in a way, to put it figuratively, um, the president, let's say, I say the in a way, the United States is the president's quote unquote house. Now, typically speaking, people don't allow strangers into their house when they
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they may or may not be capable of,
Mm-hmm.
and we should know. At the end of the day, we just should know who is in our country, and unfortunately, due to the Biden administration right now, for a significant amount of people, we do not know that.
I mean, I disagree. I mean, obviously, illegal immigration is already illegal. So if you're doing like border gotaways, or if you're referencing people who just climb the wall like without interacting with border patrol, then that's already illegal. Joe Biden
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, it's
letting that happen,
illegal,
and Donald
but
Trump had no say in that. That was already policed.
so it's obviously illegal. The problem was, by the way, Harris was in charge of the border. Biden basically put her in charge,
No, that's not
not
true either.
alone, but not completely alone on it. But it
The
was one of her responsibilities
uh,
to help out with
no,
border
the
patrol.
Harris's only responsibility was telling the, or it was like hitting at the underrooted reasons why certain third world countries were migrating into the United States. But the vice president has no like statutory authority over the border at all.
Well, I mean, the president can give the vice president said authority.
Sure, but the president doesn't have that kind of authority over the border either.
Well, they can do a lot of things in order to prevent illegal immigration from happening.
Only by invoking
Yeah.
wartime authorities. So like
Well, not
that's why I'm hitting.
necessarily. No,
Yes,
not
necessarily.
necessarily. Hold on a second. Just 1 second. The commander in chief certainly has the right to deploy military assets wherever he feels necessary, and that is actually what Trump did after he stated the border being a state of emergency. We put a number of military personnel on the border in order to help the border security, which we offer also have since ramped up.
And he tried to shut down
And
he tried to shut down physical entrance through the border. That's not all he did.
I mean, I'm not saying that's all he did, and actually shutting down some ports of entry that were leaking in a lot of illegal immigrants prior to that is a reasonable thing to do, in
So
my
like
opinion.
what's the definition of invasion that you're using here?
A large group of people coming into a country unwelcomed and uninvited.
There's no top-down directive that's needed at all.
No, not in my opinion. I don't think so. I don't see why. Because they
See,
could
this
be
So
is an
coming here
example of
for
the
any
kind of
number
structure.
What a trash
of
debater.
reasons,
so like
and there's reasons it could be a national security threat. Not that they always are by any means, but sometimes they can be.
so like what body is even invading at that rate? Like
I'm sorry, say that again.
who what body is invading if there's no top-down directive or like coordinating between any of these people?
That they are coming into they were coming into the country illegally, uninvited, and unwelcome.
Well, if they were coming into this executive order has nothing to do with illegal immigration.
I
Illegal
wasn't
immigration
talking
is
about
already
a
illegal.
specific order. I'm not talking about a specific order. I'm talking about closing the border,
Well, closing the
making
border was
it
done
as
by
hard,
that order. Like, what does closing the border mean?
having as few people come into the country illegally as possible, which he has succeeded in
That
doing.
or the closing the border to illegal immigration already happened. Like, illegal immigrants were never allowed in the country.
Yeah, sure, they're never allowed, but under the previous administration, we had basically no border security, and people could basically walk right in,
That's not
basically
true either. We
unquestioned.
had like record high
But that's
deportations under Joe
absolutely true,
Biden.
and we have multiple cases of that
We
happening
had
where Border Patrol essentially watched people walk across the
we had
border.
giant
Sometimes,
deportation
I
numbers
mean,
under Joe Biden.
not under Biden, but under Obama, sure. But he never
No, under Biden
officially.
too.
I mean, he deported some, but not a lot, really. Um, it's highly reasonable, actually, to believe that Harris was trying to give all those who came here illegally over the past 4 years citizenship status, so that they would potentially be able to vote. Luckily, that didn't happen on time.
Biden surpassed the deportation numbers of Trump's first term.
Yeah, because there's a lot more illegal people here than there were under Trump.
If you're if you're
Because Trump's first term, he also had a secure border.
if you're
Biden
claiming
basically opened it back up and then said, okay, now we're going to send you home.
if
So
you're
he reopened the wound and tried to put a band aid on a bullet hole.
if you're claiming that we weren't doing anything to police illegal entries, but Joe Biden's deportation numbers were higher than Donald Trump's, that feels like it's directly contradictory.
So, okay, actually, so deportation, that means they're already in the country, though, right?
Not necessarily. The like deportation numbers also they also account for turnaways,
The, well, deportation and turnaways are a little bit different.
but they're counted as the same number. That's why
Not really. Often that's not the case.
that's why
It's often
Obama's
not the case.
deportation numbers were so high, was because he had a lot of border turnaways.
Well, again, Obama also had significantly more people coming in. He never really addressed that aspect of the
But
problem.
I'm saying that border turnaways are included in deportation numbers. That's part of why Obama's numbers were so high.
Even yeah, highest ever actually, but among any president. But
Sure, but if I'm
what
saying
I'm
that
trying to
Joe
get at
Biden's numbers
is
were higher than Donald Trump's, then that implies that he was policing the border, right?
what I'm trying to get at is more illegal immigrants have come here under the Biden administration than either Trump administration by
Yeah,
far.
I
And
don't
right
reject
now,
that.
thanks to
That's true, but that doesn't mean that we were
more secure.
incentivizing illegal immigration when we rejected more people than Trump did, unless Trump was also incentivizing illegal immigration or had an open border.
Can you, can you give me can you give me an example of Joe Biden or Kamala Harris saying we actually before? Let me rephrase that. Before 2024, can you give me one specific example where Biden or Harris said we need to address this border issue? Because they said during the
Yeah.
campaign for sure, but that's when they found out American people wanted that.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
So if you can find me a statement, that would be great.
Um,
I mean, we all know Trump's been running on this basically since 2015, so that's one of his bigger things.
yeah, in 2021, he tasked Harris with finding the root causes of immigration from Central America. In 2023, he did CBP 1. In May 11th, Title 42 goes out. So up until May 11th, 2023, Title 42 was still in place.
And so, yeah, they're looking into things, but what did they do for the border itself? Because that's the
Title
root problem.
42. That was the thing that restricted asylum and illegal entrance for C-19. That was still in place until 2023.
Yeah, Trump. You can correct me if I'm wrong here. Did Trump not put it there?
Yeah, Trump put it there, but it was still active when Biden was there. So why would you say that we need to do something for the border when he's keeping Trump's policies?
Yeah. So, he didn't keep it. It expired. That's a little bit different. He could have renewed it. He chose not to.
No, he couldn't have renewed it because it was Title 42 was only there on the grounds of a national health emergency, and the national health emergency had expired by 2023.
Give me 1 second. I'm just looking at the stats real quick.
Yeah, no problem. And also, like the very next day after Title 42 was implemented, Biden tried to put in place a rule barring migrants from seeking asylum if they didn't do it at a port of entry, or if they did it at a, if they did it from a country that they could have done it in another country before they got to the U.S.
I mean, they kind of do already do that. Most people fly or boat in from various countries.
Sure, that's what I'm
Typically,
saying. Joe Biden tried to
like,
put in place a rule that prevented that, and it got struck down
well,
by the courts. But I mean, he still tried to take
it also
substantial
that has a
action.
lot to do with Mexico as well. The Mexican government is also liable for that.
Sure, but we're talking
Um,
about Joe Biden's actions. You're saying that Joe Biden didn't do
yeah,
anything to police immigration. I'm giving you exactly what he did.
yeah. I mean, shut down. Okay, I can grant he gave some effort. But hold on one second. He made it. Granted, I'll say this: he gave more effort than I initially did think he did
Mm-hmm.
after just reading this, and yeah, I can give you that.
Okay.
Um, but I do still think he could have done a better job in closing the border off.
Of course, I agree, but I mean,
Okay,
I
cool.
think
We
Joe
have
Biden
yeah.
is a very good example of how to actually. I think Joe Biden's handling of actually trying to get any sort of congressional legislation by, instead of just relying on bullshit invocations of wartime authority, is way better. I mean, like, the, all of Donald Trump's border quote unquote action can be undone as soon as the president enters office by the stroke of a pen, by
I mean,
revoking all
yeah,
of these
that's every
executive
president
orders.
though.
If he
That's every
actually got
president.
if he got a bill passed through Congress, then that's there. The president has no say on whether or not to enforce congressionally
Well,
passed legislation.
a lot of bills do expire though. Like for example, the 2017 tax cuts from Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
It had the big beautiful bill not passed; those would have expired.
Sure, yeah, but I mean, you can also bake into the legislation that it doesn't expire. So why is Donald Trump not actually pursuing any piece of congressional legislation?
Well, I mean, he did. Part of the big beautiful bill was more money going towards building the wall and having more ICE and border patrol.
Do you think that fixes the issue?
I think it helps a lot.
But do you like that? I don't think that helps almost at all. I think the big problem
I
with border crossings right now is fraudulent asylum seekers, and border
well,
patrol
the
has nothing to
crossings
do with that.
right now, the crossings aren't the problem anymore because, like I've said a few times now, Trump effectively has secured the southern border.
No.
So right now, that's not the problem. The problem is we still have millions of undocumented illegal immigrants in this country, and given that we have also have a lot of legal immigrants in this country, it is very difficult to decipher who's who without having an ID,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
sure, but
And it
the problem
also,
is that Donald
one
Trump.
second,
Yeah, go ahead.
just one second. It's also a bit of a slap in the face to those who did come here legally and waited X amount of years to get in here. They do things the right way. They wait their turn. They actually become American citizens, and then they see millions of people come in and not do it the right way.
Do you acknowledge that like actual illegal like gotaways, border gotaways, are minuscule in the amount of illegal immigration?
No, a lot of them just came through. They did not have documentation, and they did not seek asylum immediately, which is what you're supposed to do at the very least.
That's that's not true. Okay.
That's factually accurate.
That is not factually accurate. The majority of illegal immigrants are, you can point to fraudulent asylum seekers. That's a pretty big chunk of it, but there's no obligation to immediately seek asylum or to seek asylum at a port of entry.
Well,
That's not a legal obligation. But
other than seeking asylum, there should be a very limited reason to be coming into the country. I mean, I know the better financial stuff here.
well,
I
also
get
like
that.
I'm pretty.
Um,
Aren't the majority of illegal immigrants just visa overstays?
I would say maybe half or so, but I
So
don't see that.
what is increasing
What's
border patrol going to do to actually fix any of the loopholes that illegal immigrants are
well,
finding?
that's ICE being we're giving ICE more money. We're paying them so that they can do their job better
Do
and
you think our
hopefully
border
faster.
systems function well, or like our immigration system?
Right now, or like
The laws
long
on the
term,
books. The laws on the books.
the laws.
Yeah.
As in, if you come in without documentation, it's illegal. Like that law.
That's super simplistic. As in, like, all it takes to seek asylum is seeking asylum. That you can stay here. That you don't have to do it at a port of entry. Like, do you think
I
that
think it
the
should
asylum
be.
system, or like the immigration systems that we have on the books are effective?
I think a lot of them are. I think that everybody who comes here should come through a some form of a checkpoint, however you want to call that. And I do think they should be going through federal, maybe not asylum, but they should be going through some kind of federal system in which we can document pretty exactly who they are and what their intentions in this country are.
And do you agree that, like, funding ICE and funding Border Patrol is not fixing any of those actual core issues that are leading to
Yeah,
immigration?
it actually is because we're deporting illegals, a decent amount of whom are actually criminals beyond just
No,
entering the country
that's
legally.
not true.
Uh,
But
I mean, we
I'm saying,
are.
okay, let me just make the positive claim, okay? The immigration system is not working well. I think that's a pretty bipartisan issue. Like, the laws on the books are not substantial enough to combat the problems with illegal immigration that we're seeing, but I don't know why Donald Trump has no will to actually fix the problem instead of just doing harsher enforcement.
I mean, what would you say is the best way to do this?
I think that the Langford bill was a very, very good start, like putting a cap on asylum claims before you could shut down the border with legal authority instead of just
Okay,
doing it based off of a bullshit claim of invasion.
okay. So it sounds to me as if you are rather big on bills. Is that fair to say?
I think that the legislative should be legislating and not the executive.
Okay. So I'm going to disagree on that, but what I would want to say is what would want to say here is that do you think those who are here illegally, they know they're here illegally, do you honestly think they care about legislation that goes against them?
That doesn't matter. I think the
It actually matters a ton.
statutory authority matters when the president is invoking power. I don't
Well,
understand
yeah,
how you just unironically told me that you don't think that the legislative should be legislating and you think the executive should be legislating. I don't understand how you looked into your camera and
no,
said that.
first of all, I never said that. Second of all, what I'm
Well, I
trying to
said
say
I think that the
is,
legislative should legislate, not the executive, and you said I disagree.
oh no, I meant I disagree that legislating is the solution to the problem here. That's what I disagree with.
Okay, so you
What?
think the asylum system works efficiently right now? This is a good system
Not
because it's working fully
necessarily.
legally right now. Like, seeking asylum for, like, I think it's within 15 days of entry, um
30, I
within 30
believe.
days of entry without any obligation to do it at a port of entry. That's the law. That's what's written in the books right now.
Yeah, I would agree. We should be that should be a much smaller deadline. And actually, I might be wrong on 30 days. I probably am actually. And
Okay.
it actually it's 15 or lower.
I think it's 15, yeah.
I think yeah, something like that. I can agree that we should make that a lot more strict. I can definitely agree to that.
I just don't understand why there's no will to actually fix any of the core issues instead of just kicking it down the road for
Well,
the next
again,
presidency.
I think closing the border is a key one of the key issues.
Yes, but Donald Trump did not have the statutory authority to close the border in the way that he did.
He's the commander in chief, therefore he can use the military as
He didn't
he
just use
believes.
the military, he tried to suspend asylum on the grounds that Mexico was invading.
Yeah.
They aren't.
Mm.
And you can't
Well,
do
not
that.
Mexico. He never did that with Mexico. He specifically. He said, "Well, I mean, from the southern border on Mexico, if that's what you mean."
Yeah,
Um, I mean, yeah, Mexicans are in the minority when it comes to illegal immigration.
but
A lot
I'm
of them come from
I'm
various other
saying that this
countries.
invocation of invasion is a fully unique definition that has never been used before. This is not how
Okay,
invasion is looked at.
10,
And
10 to 20 million people is not coming in uninvited, unwelcomed is not an invasion
they
in your
weren't
opinion?
coming in uninvited. They were seeking
Yes,
asylum.
they were.
They were seeking
A
asylum.
lot of them were not.
A lot
Not
of
a
them,
lot of them
most
were
of them
not.
were.
The majority of them were not.
Noah, the reason that you think that the crossings were so high is because of the encounter numbers,
No,
and asylum seeking is
I've done the
an
research.
encounter.
Okay,
Like
listen, I've done the
how many
research.
gotaways do you think
I've
there
gone.
were?
You go. Have you not looked at the border security or ICE's numbers for this? Have you not looked at that?
Numbers for what?
Numbers for people coming in without documentation and not seeking asylum afterwards.
How? Yeah, how many?
Yeah, almost all of them until 2024.
So,
Almost all.
what are you looking at? Like, can you tell me what to look up to find
Yeah,
that?
so yeah, give me 1 second. So
Because I can tell you, like, that's I can almost promise you that's not true. Unless by not seeking asylum immediately you mean like within 5 minutes, maybe. But that's I can almost promise you that's not true.
so there's house community. This is just going off generally what I was saying a moment ago. You can look at House Committee of the Budget.gov, Homeland Security.gov.
No, like give me like a headline that will or give me like what to Google to find what you're citing.
Um, Under President Biden's watch, there have been over 8 million unknown immigrants. The title was cut off
Eight
a little bit.
million, you said?
Yeah, that's what this one
8 million
says.
what? Illegal.
The title kind of cut off, so I'm trying to find the whole title.
Okay.
Why is it not giving me it? That's weird.
Oh, I see it. Okay, okay, okay.
House Committee on the Budget.gov.
Yep. This is exactly what I thought. You're citing an encounters number.
Yeah, sorry, that was just one of the first that popped up. I found another one. Okay, House Homeland Security Committee. Let's see what this one is. Yeah, that's some more information for sure.
Like how many people do you think were just true gotaways that didn't seek asylum that just evaded border patrol?
Between 10 and 20 million.
Between 10 and 20 million.
Yes.
Even though there were only 8 million encounters?
I mean, honestly, that was the first website that doesn't look like a good website, but that's my bad.
I
1.3 in January 2024.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say.
I mean, just do your research. You'll be fine, man.
I have done my research. Okay, you are wrong. You are wrong on this.
I
The
mean, yeah,
problem is high encounters because of asylum seekers.
I mean, yeah, obviously there are high encounters, and there are quite a few million who got away. Let's look. The better website I'm looking at right now is called uh, HomelandHouse.gov. Let me find the title for you if you want. Biden and Harris border crisis still wreaking havoc.
Found 1 million
Start
gotaways in 4
January
years.
2024. No, that was January 2024. 1.3 million actually.
You
Now
think that there was
total nationwide encounters.
Do you
at
think there
least
was
10
1 million gotaways in a month?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. Monthly encounters at ports in Italy alone not total fewer than 90,000.
No. How many
Since
people
January 2020. Oh, I'm sorry. I
If
read
there
it.
was a million
Never
a
mind. I
month,
read
how
it
many
wrong.
people do
I
you
read it
think there are
wrong.
in the country?
About 360 million to 380 million.
So over the span of 4 years with a million per month.
No, I'm not saying it was a million per month. I read it wrong, and my apologies.
Okay.
It was since January 2023, more than 1.3 million have been granted entry. the illegal CBF, which is that app that they actually made,
Wait,
that Biden Harris.
wait. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, so according to this source, since January 2023, more than 1.3 million illegal aliens have been granted entry through illegal CBP.
Like,
One,
CBP-1 was a way to
yeah,
schedule your asylum appointment. That wasn't
yeah, but it
illegal.
was an illegal way of doing it.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, if you look at how it works, that's 100% illegal.
No, it wasn't. It was a way to seek
It's
asylum.
absolute.
So you just
No,
inadvertently
no, no. It
confirmed
wasn't
that the
just for
problem was
seeking
asylum
asylum.
seekers. No.
No, it wasn't just for seeking asylum. It also was for getting into the country, and you can also put your date for literally whenever. So a lot of people who use this app
Wait,
made their
CBP-1,
asylum seek.
what
CP1, you could use that to make your date in 2028 if you
date
wanted.
for what?
Your date for when you have to actually go before committee and plead your case for asylum.
Okay, so it was
So
for
they can
asylum
make their
seekers.
date 5 years. Yeah, but I mean, not really, because
Yes,
with this
really.
app, you could
You're
make that date
scheduling
like
an
five
asylum
years from
judge. You're
now.
scheduling an appointment with
Yeah,
an
but you can
asylum
do that for
judge.
like 5 years from now if you want. That's the problem. It's not a very quick thing. It's like you can schedule your appointment for 5 years from now and stay in the country for that entire duration.
Okay.
That's the legal issue here.
Yeah, that was not
It's
illegal. So your
Yeah, no,
claim
that's
of these
completely
people, these are
illegal.
not gotaways.
All right, someone else is in. I'm gonna let you go. Have a blessed day.
All right, I love you, buddy. Oh my god.
Let you go. Have a blessed day.
All right, I love you, buddy. Oh, scratch is on. No. Okay, we have to watch.
By the way, I let him drop just because we're clearly not going to see eye to eye on anything. But
Well, that's
I,
fine,
I,
man.
I try to give everyone the best chance. When you run in circles like that, I personally don't think it does any good for
Yeah.
anybody.
I think what's worse than running in circles is running away. But let's go on to a different topic here.
Sure.
So do you think Donald Trump is corrupt?
Okay.
No.
We'll watch on this.
You don't think Donald Trump? Okay. So
Jesus.
if Donald Trump were like hypothetically, wait, here, actually, maybe further. If Donald Trump was to do a corrupt quid pro quo, would you agree with me that is, or was to do a quid pro quo for his own benefit? Would you agree with me that's a corrupt action by the Trump administration?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Okay, let me just posit to you like a analogy. So if
You
Joe
just talk a little
Biden,
bit fast is all. I didn't
yeah,
quite
no,
get
that's
it.
fine. If Joe Biden said, "Hey, billionaires, I know there's a bunch of billionaires, right? And this group of billionaires is being indicted on like charges of
Not a
fraud and
bunch.
bribery,
Wait, I'm
right?
sorry.
Just
Who's a
this is a
bunch
hypothetical.
of billionaires other than Trump? Oh, okay, my bad.
This is hypothetical. Okay, right? If Joe Biden was being indicted on like charges of fraud and bribery, or no, billionaires were being indicted on charges of fraud and bribery, and Joe Biden came and said, "Hey, billionaires, I will dismiss the charges on you guys if you guys agree to help me with my green energy like project with like getting more like solar panels and windmills up." And the billionaires like, "Yep." And Joe Biden's DOJ drops the charges. Would you agree with me that is like a corrupt action by the Biden administration?
First of all, that's
Good point to hit it.
almost
Okay.
that basically did happen.
So
Not
are you
to a
do you know
T,
who
but
Eric
basically.
Adams?
That
Okay.
basically did happen.
That
So are
basically
you
did
do you know
happen.
who Eric Ad? Do you know who Eric Adams is?
Already happened.
Do you know who Eric Adams is?
Air who?
Eric Adams.
Not off the top of my head. I've heard it before. Air
LOL.
Gabbers?
Eric
I've heard Gabbers.
Adams,
Eric
mayor of New York.
Adams.
Eric Adams. Sorry, you. I don't know if it's the app. It feels like you talked fast. Yeah, I'm
No, that's-
somewhat familiar with him.
So
At least
yeah,
on my
so
end.
Eric Adams was being indicted on charges of bribery and wire fraud, and Donald Trump's DOJ dismissed the charges on the basis that Eric Adams would help Donald Trump with his immigration agenda in New York. We would agree with me that is a corrupt action by the Trump administration.
Yeah, what's the evidence?
Just
for it,
washing
though?
my ass off.
Yeah, so there's a memorandum by Donald Trump's deputy AG, Emilia Bove, which in I think it's the last
Terrible
paragraph, he explicitly
pronunciation.
spells out like the indictment is restricting Eric Adams' ability to pursue Donald Trump's immigration plan within within New York, and that is like the reason we're sending the charges. And obviously, Eric Adams agreed to help with Donald Trump's immigration agenda. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a reason to actually dismiss the charges. They blatantly spelled it out. Same, the judge who ended up dismissing the indictment against Adams also said it in his order, or that this was almost certainly a corrupt pro quo from the Trump administration to try and get elected officials to do favors for them. And like 7 prosecutors literally resigned over this. It's called the Thursday Massacre.
Yeah, looks like you're just going based on feelings. I'm not finding any.
Wait. So bringing up a memorandum by Trump's own DOJ is going off of
I'm
feelings?
just trying to look at any evidence for this. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Fuck, I gotta go. I want to read like one thing on the Smithsonian stuff because it's like this seems like so crazy.